Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to Adobe Live. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Say hey in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if this is your first time or if you're a loyal Adobe Live viewer. My name is Ellie. I'm here with Bryan Aellen.
Hey.
All the way from Canada.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Let us know if there's any other Canadians in the chat. It'd be fun to see. And say hey. We are in San Francisco right now.
San Francisco.
So, yeah. Right. It's cool here. Is it cold in Toronto right now?
It's getting a little cooler.
Yeah.
Similar to here. I walked out today and I was like, ooh, okay, I should probably run up, get my sweater.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cold in the
cooler.
summer here. Cool. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Bend, Oregon.
Sweet.
Got some regulars. Hi, Jordan.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining today. We're going to be working on an image. Bryan has an image that is pretty cool. He's going to show his whole process from start to finish, how he makes a person float using Photoshop. Defying the laws of gravity.
Exactly. I guess, that's what we're doing today.
Yeah, and talk about career building. So feel free to ask questions. And if you have questions or comments for Bryan, we would love to hear it. In about 30 minutes, we're going to do chat and win. So you'll have a chance to win some stickers from Sticker Mule, which will be super fun. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Stay active in the chat. And then we have a full schedule today, too. So earlier today was another daily creative challenge, which we'll go over in a little bit. Right now, we're live until about 11:30. And then at 11:30 will be the XD Daily Creative Challenge. And then after that will be an XD stream. So if you want to learn how to use XD, you definitely want to stay tuned for that. It's super cool. It's a really cool tool. So, yeah. Got a lot of people. Oh, we have a few people from Austin, Marissa and Nicole. Van Dam from Greece. Cool. Thanks, guys, for saying hi. Our challenge for today, if you missed it, is to use the slice tools to cut an image and make a panorama on Instagram that you can slide through.
Yeah, super useful.
And you can submit to the challenge right here. This is right above the chat. And so you can go there. There's all the information here, and you can submit. And in about an hour and a half, Bryan will be reviewing those and offering some feedback. So make sure you submit. We want to see what you guys make, and you'll have a chance to get some feedback and have your work reviewed live. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your work and what you do? I'm going to pull up your Instagram here so people can see your awesome work.
Sweet. Thank you. So hi, my name is Bryan. First of all, thank you guys for having me. I was I've been watching a whole bunch of streams when I heard that I was going to be on this stream. So I was watching what other people are doing and checking out. There's a lot of cool stuff, and I really think it's awesome. It's a great way for people to learn, so I'm just happy to be a part of it. So thank you, first off. So my name is Bryan. I got into photography about 2 years ago, roughly. So still fairly brand new, still learning a lot every day. I was in high school, I didn't even care too much about photography. I was more into video. My friends would be like, oh, dude, photography. And I'm like, whatever, video, right?
Yeah.
So I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no idea that I was going to get into this. But and I like using Photoshop in a way of elevating my work.
Yeah.
As a tool to just kind of accent my photography. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of street photography, as you can tell. I love capturing Toronto at nighttime specifically because, cities just light up at night and the lighting is always so gorgeous. So that's always really cool.
You're making me want to go to Toronto looking at these photos.
Sweet.
It looks so cool.
It is awesome there. It is pretty cool.
Looks like a really fun city. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing. We're excited to see your work.
Awesome.
And how your whole process and how you make this guy levitate. Cool. I think you're going to start in Lightroom, you said?
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah?
going to start up in Lightroom. The reason I like doing this is because I just like the communication between Photoshop and Lightroom. Like
Yeah.
the Adobe apps communicate really well together, which is awesome. And another great reason as to why I like using Lightroom is because not only can I organize my stuff really well, but I can easily upload to Instagram. Because
Yeah.
if you're using the Lightroom app, you can easily sync. So I can show you guys here actually. I have a folder called Mobile Sync. And here you'll see a bunch of my Instagram pictures. But this is really awesome because I can just kind of edit on my computer, drag and drop into Mobile Sync, open my phone and download the pictures from there, and I get high quality stuff and straight to Instagram.
And then you can kind of see, like, you put all the things in there that you think you're gonna post, right? And then, like, when it's the right time to post that photo, it's just
Exactly.
waiting there.
Exactly.
It's not lost in your camera roll with like thousands of other
Yes,
images. That's always my problem. Is
exactly.
that there's so much to scroll through to find that one image.
Yeah.
So if they're all the ones you want to post are in one place, that's cool.
Exactly. It's important to stay organized. I try to keep
Yeah.
as organized as possible with my hard drives,
Yeah.
but it can be tough. So yeah,
Cool.
Lightroom and Photoshop. I just love the communication
Yeah.
between them. So yeah, that's why we're starting off here.
Cool. Nora's asking if you use a smartphone or a DSLR for your photos.
I use a DSLR.
What do you use?
So I recently upgraded, but I was taking pictures, and you'll notice in my early Instagram pictures, in fact, a lot of these ones,
Yeah.
is with a Canon T3i.
Okay.
I got it on Kijiji for like $400. It
Yeah.
was like cheap, and it
This
was
is
just
like classic starter camera. I
yeah,
feel like.
exactly. It's super awesome.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
And
it's a great camera.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got a like as soon as I was using the kit lens in the beginning, but as soon as I got like a 50 mil,
Yeah.
got like the nifty 50. By the way, if there's any photographers, ask your questions away. Thank you so much for your
Yes.
question, Nor.
Keep them coming.
But yeah, I do like to use DSLR, and then I upgraded to I actually switched to Sony.
Okay.
Just because I'm also starting to get into the video realm, and Sony seems to be really good.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the
Very
video
good for
realm.
video.
So yeah, Sony A7 III is
Cool.
the one that
How
I'm
do you
currently
like it?
using. It's awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, I guess, like I'm saying, it's just the video aspect, it just kind of crushes it in terms of like specs, and the quality is amazing, and I shoot a lot at night.
Yeah.
So having that good, I guess, ISO control and being able to shoot at really high ISOs and not get that grainy shot is always super important.
Yeah. Very important. Cool.
Yeah, so let's jump back in.
Awesome.
Let's see here. Yeah, so you're gonna see a few different shots because I went out, called up my buddy Daniel. He's super awesome.
Yeah.
Anytime I need a subject or a model, I'm just like,
so
yo.
nice to have people like
Oh
that.
my God, he's awesome. I just call him up and I'm like, yo, Daniel.
Yeah.
He's like, what are we doing today?
Oh.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. This is him, Daniel, being epic.
There he is. Look at that jump.
Yeah, so
Very crazy.
yeah, it's awesome. I usually what I like to do with a lot of these floating shots, there's many ways to do this. And there's even a really good way. The way I originally got into this was there was a tutorial by Peter McKinnon and the Brightest Hour, I believe. And they did like a floating composite, and it was really cool. But from there, I just kind of like took it and made it my own.
Yeah.
So that's where I originally learned it from, but there's a lot of ways to do this. So the way I like to do it is I like to shoot with a high shutter speed. And then I just ask the subject to jump, essentially.
Okay.
Jump and do something fun.
Yeah.
And then with the high shutter speed, you'll freeze that motion, which is really nice. So you won't get any blurry, but they'll be nice and stiff and perfect and ready for editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I like to do that. Like I said, there's a few ways. You can even have them hang on to something,
Sure. Yeah.
or like lay down and then mask that image later. I think a huge part of my process is I like to take 2 images, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. I like to take 2 images in the same spot. So
Daniel says this Daniel guy sounds pretty chill.
what up? I'm seeing a lot of love from home.
Oh.
Noah, thank you. Let's see. Noah Richmond asks, How have you been finding new ways to use Photoshop to elevate your edits specifically? Good question. Good question. I think, let's see, because I like to usually like color correct and edit in Lightroom.
Okay.
But then I know that if there's a case where I need to manipulate the photo itself, I like to hop into Photoshop.
Yeah.
And I guess if I were to say, recently I've been messing with a lot of like neon lights and like kind of like recreating
that's really
like
cool.
recreating neon like borders and stuff, and we could even do it here because there's a lot of space for it. Thanks for the question, Noah.
Yeah, that's super fun. Adding some extra elements in there to kind of like make it pop.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, what I was saying before was I like to take 2 pictures. So if you notice this one, I took a picture with my buddy Daniel and he's jumping in the air. And then in the same place, didn't move the camera too much, one where he's not there. And this just gives us a lot of control in post, because we're essentially able to manipulate however we want. We can move him in a different direction. It also helps, I think one of the biggest things is matching lighting. And this kind of eliminates that, because if you take a picture of the person or the subject, whatever it might be, in that place, you know that the lighting is gonna be as it is, right? Like you took it in that same place in that moment, so there's no really need to change or play with that in Photoshop. So it just saves a lot of time.
you a lot of time.
Yes, exactly.
That's really
awesome.
cool. Xavier's asking if you use any lights or flashes.
I don't right now. I know they're a lot of fun. I have another friend who absolutely loves Flash, and he's done some amazing work with it. So I have yet to get into the realm of flashes and stuff. Yeah, I think the first time I used a flash, I rented it because I rented it for a gig. I was like super nervous and I wanted to be prepared. And I was like, what do photographers have? Flashes?
Yeah, the flash.
I guess that's how you look good. This is like early when I was starting off. So I went and rented a flash. I had no idea what I was doing. I think the only tip that I ran with was like, don't point the flash straight at the subject. Try to diffuse it off the wall or whatever. So, I mean, I was just trying to not like wash out all my images. Which is really funny.
That's cool though. That's a really good way to test out equipment and see if you like working with it, to rent it. Because it's so much cheaper than actually buying it. And then you can see like, does this go with my style? Does this go with my workflow? And you know, sometimes like it's gonna work well and change your style or like elevate your style, and sometimes like your style is better without it.
Exactly.
So you can play around with that and see what kind of equipment you actually want.
And gear can get expensive too, so it's good to be able to test
it out first.
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
So what we're gonna be doing today is we're going to essentially recreate this, going from here to before to an after.
That's so cool.
It's a little bit of a simpler edit today. We're gonna try to keep it simple, pretty straightforward. I'm seeing so many people from home. Kate, Christian.
So supportive.
Thank you so much, guys. You guys are awesome.
Thanks for being here, everybody.
Woo, getting nervous, but I'm excited.
It's gonna be so fun. Christian's asking if you have anything else you shoot with besides your camera. Do you do like your phone at all?
I do. The phone is really awesome. When I think phones nowadays, they shoot really high quality stuff.
They do.
So, and especially if your phone can shoot in RAW format, because again, some of the newer phones can, and that's really useful for editing.
That's super.
I like to shoot in RAW when I know I'm gonna be editing, and then JPEG when I'm trying to do like just, I guess, test shots or when I know I'm not going to be editing it. But I like to use my phone, and I use my T3i as a backup. I didn't sell it. I still have it. It's like my baby, my first camera.
Yeah, your first one.
All right, let's hop into Photoshop here.
Tim is saying that you can shoot RAW with the Lightroom app.
Yeah,
I've never shot with the app. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool too.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I've never tried it myself, I guess because I've never really needed to, but even if your phone doesn't, you could totally hop on.
Yeah, Cool.
Good tip, Tim. Tip, Tim?
Tip, Tim.
Good tip,
Tim always has great tips.
Oh, it looks like I have this image opened already.
All right.
All right. Oh, it's cool. And yeah, so I'm gonna pull in this image and then the image where he's not there.
Were you using a tripod or did you just hold?
Yeah, so here I was just holding it. It's really good to use a tripod. It's honestly best. But I'll show you, if you're a little bit off, it's totally fine. You can totally tweak it and we'll take care of that.
Yeah, let's see it. I want to see how.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm just pressing Control E on my PC. And that will open the image up in Photoshop.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Gotta get those shortcuts.
Yeah.
They're seriously the best.
All right, cool. So let's do...
Oh, there's so many comments in the chat right now.
Awesome. Keep them coming,
yes,
guys. Thank you.
guys. Thank you so much. Make sure to ask any questions if you have any. And then if there's any questions that we missed, feel free to ask them again because things are moving fast.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I've already talked for so long.
I know. When we have about 13 minutes until chat and win, so
Sweet.
Stay in the chat and you'll have a chance to win some stickers from Sticker Mule.
Exciting.
And just asking if you usually know how you're planning to edit the photo before you even shoot it, or do you kind of shoot and let that inspire your editing?
Good question. I actually love, so I will plan in the moment. So for example, when I was here, I like to just kind of, when I have an idea or when I like have this urge to go downtown and take pictures, and that's where I'm mostly taking pictures, downtown Toronto.
Right.
I just want to pick up the camera and go.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like go. I'm less about like writing your ideas down and like, yeah, I'm really bad with that stuff. So I'm just like go downtown and go see what's up. Let that inspire you. Yeah. So that being said though, when I am at a location, I do like to take inspiration from the environment around me. And I like to say, okay, cool, I can use this as a frame, or I can, I like to use my phone a lot as like a frame. I was like, if my phone is here and I'll have like this building pop out through it, or I'll use long exposures like street lights and stuff. So really, I like to plan, but when I'm there. Yeah, in that moment, you're seeing like, this is what's inspiring me. And then in that moment, you're figuring out how you're going to edit it so you can get the right photos for that. But you're not planning in advance, really. No, not really. Unless it's, I mean, sometimes I guess I have before, but that's not usually how I roll. Yeah. Cool. Cool, so I'm just going to lower the opacity here just so that we can see a little more. And you can see the image is a little bit off between the two. So this is what will happen when you're not using a tripod. But like I said, it's okay. It doesn't need to be too perfect for this edit, but we can adjust it anyway. Chelsea asked if you use dehaze at all to like, no? Yeah, I have used it. I do use it in Lightroom as the panel, as the, where are we at here? Right here. I do like to use that. Not too much. I guess if it calls for it. Sure, if it's gonna add something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks for your question. And then Christian is asking, who got you into photography? Who got me into photography? Is this Christian? Yes. Christian Padilla, of course. Because he knows. It's him. Oh. Yeah, Chris. So yeah, it was honestly my friends and anyone close around me. Yeah, as I said, when I first got my Canon T3i, I didn't know how to use the manual settings. So I kind of looked to my friends to help me out with that. And yeah, my friends are really awesome. It's really good if you have other people. Yes. To kind of like show you the ropes when you're starting something new. So yeah, I have a bunch of friends. He was one of them. Of course, that's why he's asking. That's so cool though. Having community and all sharing that same interest is so cool. It's so inspiring. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, and at the same time also like knowing people that do other stuff as well. I have another friend who's really into music. and he
Yeah.
inspires me a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, just arts, arts in general. I always appreciate that.
Yeah, all different kinds.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Oh, Ange says, I'm from Toronto too.
What up? What up? Hometown.
Yes. Cool. Daniel says, what's one thing you wish you knew when you first started photography?
Good question, Daniel. I think there's a lot of talk behind photography being oversaturated, and it's a little bit it's kind of unfortunate because in the beginning, like, you're trying to start something new, you're trying to grow, whether you're trying to get like clientele or you're just trying to build a portfolio, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You just hear from a lot of people, oh, it's oversaturated. Oh, why are you doing that? And I don't think it's oversaturated. I think there's a place for you and there's a place for everyone. Really, it's just a matter of like getting your own style. And I'm still like figuring out what my style is, and I'm still trying to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
All the time, there's inspiration left, right, and center. With Instagram or with Behance or whatever it might be. There's inspiration all the time. So to find your own unique style is pretty tough, and it takes a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not instant.
Not at all. Not at all. So I think those two things, just knowing that it takes time to build your style and that it's not oversaturated. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. If it is really what you enjoy doing, then chase it, attack it.
Yeah, and if you're doing good work that, like you said, that stands out is your own unique style, like, you're going to be fine.
For sure. Exactly.
There's always going to be people who are going to want that style.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Cool.
Awesome. We've got them kind of lined. Now you can see the kind of before and after.
So you're just lining up those two
I'm just
photos right
lining it
now.
up, yeah.
Perfect.
Sweet. Oh.
Thanks, guys, for all the good questions.
Cool. So now there's multiple ways to do this. My favorite is I love to use the pen tool. It's just the most accurate. There's the magnetic lasso tool, I believe. That's really cool in certain situations as well. I like to use a pen tool. It takes more time, but you can be super accurate, which is awesome. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. Ask questions while I do this because this could take a while.
We have a few questions. Noah's asking, where do you eventually want to end up as a photographer and a creator? Do you have kind of like a big picture goal?
Yeah, so I know I want to start traveling more. That's one thing I want to get into. I find that when I'm getting not bored of Toronto, but it's just too much of the same, and I never want to be comfortable. I always want to be kind of trying out new stuff and meeting new people. So yeah, I think I want to start traveling more and maybe get into landscape photography.
Oh, cool.
I've never tried that out. There's a lot of places up in Canada to explore. Vancouver, Banff.
Yeah, beautiful landscapes in Canada, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
And seen a little bit, but that's really cool.
So yeah, I want to explore a little more.
Yeah. Get some new inspiration.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim says, for some abracadabra, try out the select subject tool, which will like select the main subject. Have you tried that?
Select subject.
Yeah, I think it's fairly new.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean.
Select subject.
There you go.
Oh,
Got
look
it
at
mostly.
That. Okay, nice.
So then you can
That's
just
cool.
fill it in a little bit more.
That's so interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
That is pretty sweet.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It works super well, especially if it's like a very clean background. Like this is a pretty clean background.
Yeah, this is pretty close.
So,
I'm guessing that's why it got it pretty well, which
good.
is awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah. Let's go. I'm gonna go ahead, and if we're gonna do that, then I'm gonna
Fill
go
it in
ahead.
a little more.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the selection tool, quick selection tool, and just.
Camille's asking, does the quality of the camera really matter?
No, not at all. It does limit you in the sense, it's much more difficult to shoot, like say at night. with a lower quality camera. But that's not to say you can't grab a tripod. That's not to say you can't use your surroundings. Even if you don't have a tripod, you can set it up and you can do like a long exposure. There's tons of ways to get around it. It's really just about knowing your equipment.
Yeah.
And that's honestly the most important thing. Just knowing your equipment, knowing the workarounds, and knowing the limitations, and you can still create awesome stuff.
Yes, absolutely. It's really more about the mind behind the camera than the actual camera itself.
100%. She got it. She's got it.
Yeah.
She knows.
Nora's asking if you have any tips about traveling with your gear, because you brought some of your gear with you to San Francisco.
I did, yeah. This is my first time traveling by myself, which was exciting.
Yeah.
It was nice. Tips, I guess. I don't know. I try to pack really light. I'm not going to be here for too long. I'll be back home shortly, so luckily I didn't have to bring that much clothes. I packed essentially a lens. I bought a new lens recently.
Yeah.
So I wanted to test that out here.
Cool.
It's a prime, so it's a fixed focal length, so I can't zoom in or zoom out. But if it weren't for getting a new lens, then I think I would have brought a variable, like a 24 to 70, so I can zoom in and zoom out, just because you don't know what kind of situations you're going to be in, whether you're taking portraits or street photography or product, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea. Just bring like variable lenses.
Yeah, have variety. And yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. And then travel light if you can.
And travel light, exactly. Yes, always try to travel light.
Yes.
I saw Hank's stream. I don't know if Hank is
Last
watching
week.
this. Last week, I absolutely
Yes.
loved it. Hank was awesome. And originally, I was into a lot of like logo and graphic design. Before Photoshop, I was really into Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. So I was really into that, and so it was cool seeing Hank get into his design work, because I could see how you could also use that in Illustrator.
Yeah.
But he was using
In Photoshop.
his brushes in Photoshop, and I was like, this is getting me excited about like design. And
it's crazy how like you can do so much in Photoshop.
You can.
Like there's so many different tools, and all the tools do different things. You know, like Illustrator is definitely geared more towards graphics and illustration and stuff, but Photoshop still has all those abilities, and it's super cool, and people can use tools and like to manipulate a photo and then also create an illustration, and
for
then
sure at the same time.
everything.
Right?
Yeah, it's so crazy. Or you could even illustrate on top of your photograph.
That
pretty
too.
cool.
I've seen that too. That's a really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are getting into that.
It's pretty fun.
Just finishing up on the hand here.
Caitlin is asking which lens is your favorite lens that you've used.
Good question, Kate. I think, I don't know, the one that I just bought is actually really awesome. It's a 24 millimeter 1.4 aperture. I'm loving it so far because I recently got into vlogging, and it's wide enough for vlogging, and it's also perfect for street photography.
Yeah.
Getting that wide shot is always nice.
Yeah.
And then it goes down to a 1.4 aperture, so I can keep my ISO pretty low. I know I don't know, this might be a lot for people.
No, it's great.
Yeah, I hope.
All the information.
Ask any questions
Yes.
in case I say something like ISO or shutter speed
Yes,
if
if
you
you
need to
need
know what that is.
clarification.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm nerding out a little bit, sorry. You guys are asking the
It's
right
okay. I
questions.
think you're in the right place to nerd out about photography.
Perfect. This place is awesome. The studio is awesome. You guys can't see this, but the studio is awesome. There's like space and planets over here. There's like astronaut stuff to my left. Lights is so cool. So
Very
cool.
cool. Anthony's asking, are you interested in a specific theme related to your photography, or is it more about the aesthetics?
You know, there's a lot when it comes to themes and colors. I think a lot of people are get like, for example, like it's almost like what's trending. There's almost like what's hot at the time, and you can almost like choose to use that or choose to continue doing your own thing. Again, I think it's good to try out different styles and try to stay consistent with something for a while, like a color palette, or like a steampunk style, like that neon style, or black and white, or whatever it is. I think it's nice to try out certain styles and then switch it up to something after some time. It's really cool because it helps develop your own stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in terms of aesthetic, yeah, that's pretty important. I would say.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's time for Chat and Win.
Sweet.
You guys are asking great questions. If you had a question and it didn't get answered, make sure to ask it again after Chat and Win because we probably won't be able to see it. But say hi in the chat and you'll have a chance to win some stickers. And we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Just waiting to see who is going to win our stickers.
Drum roll.
From Sticker Mule. So excited.
There's tons of questions. Hi.
Yes, hi. Hi,
People
everyone.
just came in. What up? What up?
Nicole, Paul, Jordan, Alberto.
Need stickers.
stickers.
Michael.
You'll win 100 stickers. So it's a pretty good prize. Yeah.
100
You can customize them however you want. You can put your logo. You can put an illustration. You can do anything you want. I know, it's super cool.
Stickers are like, you could do so much with them. I've always thought about like running around downtown, like slapping
Stickering
stickers.
everywhere.
Just like sticker. Like little, I don't know if you guys have ever played like Little Big Planet. I don't know if you guys are into like gaming. Oh, someone won.
Anthony, congratulations. You will get a
so awesome.
message on Behance about how you can redeem your stickers. And then if you didn't win, we still have something for you. You can go to stickermeal.com/AdobeLive19. You can get 10 stickers for $1, which is great. And you can customize them, test them out, see how you like them. And yeah, thanks for chatting, guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, if you had a question we didn't get to, feel free to ask it again. We probably didn't see it. We can only see like a limited amount of the chat, so keep the questions coming. And we have about an hour until the Daily Creative Challenge, so make sure you submit. The challenge today is to use the slice tool to create a panorama in Instagram. You can swipe through.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's super cool. And if you missed the tutorial, you can watch the replay of that.
Yeah, that's a really cool thing to do on Instagram.
Yeah.
I've seen like even the top artists do it just because it's really cool.
It's very cool.
If you haven't tried it yourself, go ahead, do it. I've done it before. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, do it, and we want to see what you guys make. So make sure you submit. Cool. Well, Bryan is working on this photo that he took. He's about to make this guy levitate.
Yeah, he's jumped. He's got hops. So he's got hops. So he's jumped for me already, but we're gonna put it a little higher. I'm gonna save selection. This is always a good idea. Danny.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's always good to do that when you're working with the same subject in case you need to come back to a selection or you screw it up and you deselect it for whatever reason, you know you can always go and find that selection.
You don't have to reselect the whole thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Chelsea's asking if you've ever used a lens ball in your photography.
I have. If you go on my Instagram, you'll see some.
I can find one.
Sure. There's one there, which is cool. There's tons you can do with a lens ball. It's a lot of fun. They're pretty cool.
Cool, yeah. Make sure to go follow Bryan on Instagram, guys. Maybe we'll see some of your San Francisco photos.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like trying to absorb as much as I can while I'm here and take as many pictures for sure. So let's go and layer via cut. Let's get this pen selection out of the way. We don't need you. Thank you. Cool. Now that we have them kind of on a separate layer. Yeah.
So you put them on a new layer.
Yeah, exactly. We've put them on a new layer. We've got some. Yeah, so this is why I love using the pen tool, because you can be really accurate, and you won't get it. You like if it's a nice clean background, it's awesome to use the the quick select, and you can do stuff like that. Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna work with this, don't worry. But anyway, now we have him here floating around.
You can put them wherever.
And yeah, we could put him wherever. And one thing that I really liked about this location is that there's a lot of frames to play with, and that's another thing that I like to use and I like to look for when I'm downtown. So there's a lot of like these grids, right?
Yeah.
These grids kind of going around, and they're all over. You can use windows, you can use street lights, you can use your phone, you can use any stuff. I like using screens or stuff like that because you can really play with that in Photoshop and create this surrealistic illusion, right? Which is pretty sweet. Yeah, so now we got him here, and like I said, now the lighting is fine. We don't have to worry too much about lighting because he's been in the same spot. So
yeah, you know it's correct because he was shot right there.
Exactly.
I think that's the hard part about using stock images sometimes. Like, stock is so great because you can get images that you could maybe never take in real life for whatever reason, but then you have to make sure all the lighting matches and everything, and that's very challenging.
Yeah, it's its own art.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm gonna clean up some of this background. I'm noticing there's like the sign here I kind of want to get rid of.
Those little guys.
Yeah. Let's start
all the little details, huh?
Yeah. And yeah, it's interesting. There's been a lot of people that say like, you're destroying the image, or like you're not keeping true to what it was. But I don't know. I want to ask that.
But is that adding to the image? To have like little sprinklers up there?
Right. That's how I see it. Right. Like I just see it as using the tools that we have. Right.
Yeah.
To output the best work that we can. Right. So I don't know. But what do you guys think? Do you think it's bad that we like manipulate so much things and we create this what's in our minds so much, or do you think we should work a little more raw? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. I've heard that debate before.
Yeah, I think in a way, if there's things that are distracting, like a sign in the background or things like that, if it's distracting and it's like gonna draw your attention away from the actual photograph, like
takes away from it.
Yeah, it's not necessary to leave it, but
yeah.
Be interesting to see people
just hopping in. I'm gonna use the clone stamp tool.
Okay.
Which is awesome. So I'm noticing that the light. So this is the area that we want to mask out. And if I grab, so I'm not sure if you guys know about the the clone stamp tool. You can kind of like you select an area, and it kind of mimics that area, and then you can go and paint in a different area with the area that you've selected. So usually you pick an area that's close to it. If I pick here, for example, it's probably going to be too bright. So when I go and try to paint over it,
it's not going to look right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's undo that. But the lighting from here is pretty similar. So I'm going to go and I'm pressing Alt. Again, I'm on PC. So I'm going to select that area, and then we're just going to brush down.
No, it says art is making the world look like what you want it to look like.
Very true.
Very true.
Very cool.
Yeah,
everyone
agrees with you. Chelsea says, I think that's part of the creative process unless you're shooting for a specific reason, like nature shots.
True. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and again, like nature is something I want to get into in landscapes and stuff. I think, again, in that case, you kind of want to capture the beauty of the environment. So it's a little less about taking stuff out and more about just capturing that, which is cool.
It's almost like some of the imperfections are what adds to the beauty of it.
Exactly.
Tim is saying you can also use the healing brush tool to do this.
Another good point. Yeah, I've used that before.
And it'll automatically adjust the brightness.
Yeah.
Nora's saying what I don't like is exaggerated skin edits on people.
Yes.
People look kind of fake.
That's one thing that you kind of want to be careful with. Skin tones. Skin tones is its own art.
Skin's really hard to retouch. Yeah.
It is. It's not easy at all. It's something you definitely want to take your time with. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge.
Oh, Tim is saying the spot healing brush also uses the content-aware algorithm, so the texture doesn't look too cloned.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good point.
I didn't know that it had that same.
uses the same
technology.
Yeah,
That's
me
cool.
either. Yeah, let's go. So with this one, I'm gonna go and try it. I'm gonna see what content aware fill can do.
Ooh,
so
let's see.
I'm gonna make the selection, right click, let's jump into fill, and you just change up here, you're gonna find content aware. Now this is kind of tapping into the technology that he was just talking about.
Yes.
So we're gonna go okay.
Same technology.
And let's see.
It's pretty good.
Bam.
Pretty good.
Awesome. There's little things that you can always go and retouch. So I like using a combination of the oh my gosh, the clone stamp tool, and content aware fill. So here we notice it's got the lighting right, everything's perfect.
It's that little line there.
It's just that little line that's missing. So we're gonna go in and grab from maybe up here.
Fill it in.
And just recreate that line a little bit.
Cool. Tim's saying for larger areas, you could also use the patch tool.
Yeah,
So
tons of
many
options.
tools.
Tons of options.
And that's what's cool about having so many different tools, because sometimes one will work better for a certain situation, and then you might have to test different options to see what works for that particular photo or that particular spot that you're trying to fix.
100%.
So it's good that there's multiple options.
Yeah, because you don't know, you never know what situation you're gonna run into.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Oh,
a little guy over here. Sweet.
What? Tim's offering so many great tips right now. He's saying there's also a cool new content aware workspace where you can set the source area of the content aware fill tool, so you can mask out
Yes.
areas you don't want to reference pixels from.
Yes, I was playing with
not
that
seen
as
that.
as soon as it came out. I was playing with that right away because
Yeah,
it's
that's
actually
super
so cool.
awesome.
It's actually so cool. Just gonna.
Thanks, Tim.
I'm just gonna go and I'm just gonna mask out a little bit of area here. Sweet.
Cool.
Awesome. You'll notice I like to zoom out a lot because I kind of
See
like
the big
to.
picture.
Yeah, it's a lot of times you're so focused, you're zoomed in, and you're working on like the nitty gritty, the finer details. But I like to step back and kind of like see how it's looking overall.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
Nora's asking how you deal with copyright for your creations.
Yeah. So this is another huge reason as to why I appreciate photography and why I think it's a good idea to get into photography if you are just into photo manipulation and Photoshop. If you can get into photography, it's really awesome because if you learn how to use a camera and all that fun stuff, you can create your own stuff and then you don't have to worry about copyright issues, right? So that's kind of my workaround is I just kind of take my own pictures and I do stuff and I just work with my own images. Of course, there's times where it calls for, like you're saying, that you can't get that image that you need.
Yeah, that specific image.
Stock is great, but then probably need to invest a little bit more money to purchase stuff.
Yeah.
Or there's always free options too. There's free websites. So yeah, I guess the free websites are what I go to for if I really need an image and I don't want to worry about copyright. Yeah. Good question. That's a tough one. Even when I was I used to make YouTube videos. I was really into dance before. And that was a huge thing, like copyright strikes and all that, like what music, and obviously I need to dance to music, right? So that was a huge thing dealing with copyright, and it's kind of followed me into photography too. So it's something that's always there. You just got to learn to deal with it in different ways.
He also asked if you use watermarks. Do you worry about people using your images, or have you had anyone use your image illegally?
I think I've heard this question come up in a different stream.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I personally don't like to use watermarks. I don't know. It's tough. I guess I get like you. Of course, the choice is up to you, but I don't know. I think it takes away a little bit for me personally. Like I just want people to see the image and share it and use it in whatever way they want. I have seen, like for example, once one of my images on Instagram got reposted on a completely different account.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. I totally don't mind that as long as they credit,
Yes.
right? Excuse me. So that's what's important to me, as long as they credit. But one time this account didn't credit and they kind of just posted it, and it was funny because it was one of my followers that was like, "Oh, yo, this dude posted your picture and he didn't tag you in it." And I was like, "Whoa, what?" Like I would have never caught that. Like so awesome. And I think that really shows. You know, people are genuine and people just really care about authenticity. And as long as you're cool and you're an awesome person online, people are gonna treat you with the same respect. And that's what viewers want, just authenticity, and they want to see who you are. And again, as long as you're cool, you'll see that just like that, people will have your back, and people will do the right thing, you know? Am I worried about it? No. I mean, you can always, like, even if I don't know, I think the truth always comes out online. Everything's out there. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. But I mean, I've seen professionals use watermarks, and especially if you're higher up in the industry, I definitely understand that, because your images, I guess they can mean a lot more to you they have a higher chance of like getting seen. So yeah, maybe you have to be more careful when you're up there. Maybe I'll change it. Maybe I'll start watermarking my stuff.
Maybe someday. Yeah. I kind of agree with you though. It's like, in a way, kind of distracts from the image, but I totally understand when people do it too.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tricky thing, because the thing is, like, if you're putting your work out there for people to see, like, the chances of somebody using it is so high that you just can't, like, you can't stress about it.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly. You're
and
putting it
like
out
you
there.
said, people are gonna see it, people are gonna comment, people are gonna let you know. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just kind of have to accept it. Like when you're posting it, when you're putting it out there,
it's
you're
kind of
putting
a
it out
risk you
there.
take by putting your work out there.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
As an artist, as a creative.
Absolutely. You can't not, because you're afraid of somebody stealing your work.
Exactly.
Yeah. The benefits outweigh the negatives.
I think so. Yeah. So if you notice, I just masked out this, and again, this is why I like using frames and messing with that, is because things look natural when you grab, or when you take advantage of a frame that's already there in the world. Things look natural. Nothing looks weird. So I'm just grabbing this square, and we're going to...
Daniel says he's removing the ceiling for me because the front door was locked.
You needed another way in.
Yes.
Use the paint bucket tool, just quickly fill that in, and we'll fill it in. We'll make it bright. I kind of wanted to make it look like he's kind of like floating into his other world, other realm, whatever, however you want to call it, whatever you want to think about it. Yeah. Sweet. Let's see. Yeah, I think I want to make the lights more dramatic here, so let's work with that. And again, I'm just keeping things pretty simple. There's a lot you can do with even just like the brush tool. So I'm gonna make just a little bit of a selection here, and again, this is gonna be for the lighting.
Okay.
Just to make it more dramatic, more intense. I want to make it look like there's like space above the ceiling, like there's something else going on. There's
something's up there.
Yeah, there's like a whole atmosphere. There's a ton going on.
Cool.
So I'm gonna make this quick selection here. Awesome. And again, just keep it very basic. I usually like to use the brush tool, and I like to keep the hardness at 0%, just because you just get really soft lines, nothing too harsh. And especially for stuff like lighting, you want to be really soft with it.
And you're painting that in on a new layer.
Yes.
So you can easily get rid of it.
Yeah, it's also good to name your layers. Clearly, I haven't been doing that. That's bad.
I really feel like every single person who's on this stream is always like, make sure you name your layers. I'm not doing it right now, but.
You know what? You know what? In that case, I'm gonna do this right. We got Danny over here just to show you the importance of it. It is very important, honestly.
It is. If you get a crazy number of layers, you're gonna wish you had named them.
Exactly. Let's call this light blue.
Cool.
And BG background. OG original.
Tim says layer 3 is also a layer. It is a layer name.
It is a layer.
It's true.
You know.
It's true.
Let it be.
Oh, make sure to save your document too.
Of course.
Yes.
Control S.
Yes, all the time.
Great. Always great. Cool.
We have less than 40 minutes until the creative challenge, so make sure you submit. Show us your panoramas. How you use the slice tool.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be cool.
You can do some really cool stuff with
yes.
that. So I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. I'm just gonna soften things up. So you notice this kind of worked in my favor, but this harsh line here.
Mm-hmm.
So typically with lighting you want to be soft, but again I think it kind of adds to the geometry and kind of like the straight lines of the piece in general. And it just makes it feel like it's really harsh lighting, which is nice. I'm gonna soften it just a little bit, but I kind of like that it's there.
It kind of almost makes it look like there's another opening there and the light's like coming straight.
Yeah.
Not like it's an actual light, but another like opening like the bigger square.
Exactly, and that's what I want it to feel like. Like
Yeah.
he's going into
And it's kind of
space.
gonna like open up maybe, like the compartment will like open. Or
So,
it's in
yeah.
the process of opening.
It's so cool. Yeah, exactly. Just
Yeah.
playing around with the imagination. And yeah, I'm gonna use a layer mask. Layer mask is awesome because you can always be non-destructive with your layers, which is awesome.
Yes.
And you can just add it just by clicking on this. I'm not sure if you can see it there. Just on the bottom right next to effects. And quickly add a layer, and then I believe it's black conceals and white reveals. So depending on what color you're using, so if you're using black or white, you'll either make it disappear or white will make it appear. Yeah.
Cool. Tim's saying that's how you can tell the difference between a personal and a client project if you look at my files, layer names and color coding.
Nice. Yeah. It's especially important when you're working with clients. When it's just for yourself, you're kind of having fun. You're doing your thing.
Whatever, I can click through. Like Noah says, figure out what layer 85 is.
Exactly.
Just by like clicking the eye on and off.
Yeah,
But
you're like, what is
you're
this?
like, which one is
Where
it?
is it? Where is it?
But
So true.
But yeah, if it's for clients especially, it's pretty important.
Yeah. So there you go. Now we kind of got that little bit of a glow. And again, just very simple concepts. We're gonna keep going on the same layer.
Cool.
And yeah, keep going. I'm just trying to kind of outline the shape and trying to like recreate that go along the same lines as the light itself, just to keep it accurate.
Cool. Speaking of clients, so it looks like you mostly do street photography. That's kind of your thing. But do you work with clients at all?
I do. So I think the best way that I found is, for me anyway, that's the good thing about photography. There's so many niches and so many things to hop into. There's like so much. It's almost like there's a place for everyone in photography.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So finding a market that you can fulfill is really, really cool. So I found that for me, I got into product photography. And yeah, I have a client in Chicago, and he's really awesome. I do some card playing photography. He does like custom card playing cards.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, custom cards, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's just about finding the niche fun stuff. in photography because, like I said, it's always open. You'll never know what people need. In the beginning, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm on the wrong layer."
Speaking of,
Yeah.
maybe you're late.
In the beginning, a lot of people, or even now, even still today, I get a lot of this. So I tell people like I do photography, and they're like, "Oh, so you do weddings?"
Yep.
They're like, "Oh, you do weddings,
That's
right?"
what everyone thinks.
Yeah, and it's like there's a lot more to it, you know?
Yes, there's so many different kinds.
Yeah, so that's always a thing. I always get the photography. Oh, so you do weddings?
Yes, I get that too. Or if I say, "Oh yeah, we own a studio," people are like, "Oh, you do family portraits there?"
Yeah, you
Nope.
do baby photos? And
Never
it's like-
once.
yeah, and it's like there's so many ways to make money.
There really is. Yeah,
in
there's so
photography.
many different kinds. And they're so different too, you know? Like some people are so great at, you know, family portraits or weddings or whatever. And those
that's
skills,
awesome.
which is awesome. And those skills may or may not translate as well to a different kind of photography. But then, you know, some people are great at like street or product or, you know, and you have, there's different skills involved in each kind of photography.
100%. Yeah, and that's why it's not oversaturated. There's places, there's tons of like places to make money and find
Yes.
clients. There's always a need. So don't worry about that. If you love it, you'll make it work.
Do you have any tips on finding clients or like commercial jobs?
Yeah, so I think the biggest tip, the way I got my first client was, and this is gonna sound a little weird and maybe a little like, oh, why would you do that? If there's a client that you really, really want to work with, and you really want to stand out to them and you really want to impress them, put in the work before they even know you, before you even get paid, before you do whatever. It's always, you always stand out to them. So the way I got my first client was, I was just out with my friend, and then we were taking pictures, and my friend is a magician, and he has a bunch of cards with him. He has a bunch of cool custom cards.
How fun.
Yeah, like really cool green and like black card, like, you know, rather than your typical bicycle deck of cards. Yeah, so I had snapped a picture of the cards over ice. It was like cold at the time, and the water was like frozen over. We were downtown somewhere, and I thought it'd be cool to take this picture of the card and make it look like it's floating over the ice, and you can kind of see the reflection.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and so I took the picture, and I was really excited about it. I was like, this is awesome, you know. I was super excited about it, and I wasn't gonna post it on Instagram because I was trying to keep a theme at the time, and I was trying to stay consistent.
Yeah.
And cards just didn't fit well, but I was sad about it because I was like, it's such an awesome.
You loved the photo.
Yeah, I loved it. It was
Yeah.
awesome, and you know, I wasn't gonna print it and put it on my wall. I mean, it's just
Right.
a picture of cards, right? But I still thought it looked awesome, and so I decided to look up the name of the brand, the brand of the deck of cards, and I reached out to them, and I was like, oh hey, I was like, and at the time I don't even think I had a client. This was my very first client, so I was just like, you know, trying to find cool ways to stand out, and so I edited the picture. I took it home, and I sent it, and I put it in an email, and again I reached out, and I was like, hey, I think your brand is super awesome. I'm a photographer in Toronto, and he immediately emailed me, and he was like, oh no way, he's like, can I send you more or whatever? Like, it was like straight into like, you do this stuff, and I was like, yeah. And again, I think the reason is because I stood out, because I put in the work before he even expected it.
You showed him that you could accomplish like what he'd be looking for.
Exactly what he's looking for his product, right?
You understood the product. You understood what would make it look awesome.
Exactly.
And you proved that. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, they appreciate that, right? And I think, so if there's a brand that you really, really want to work with, if it's a sticker brand or if it's a product, go like, you know, invest a little bit of money, get the product or whatever it might be, and take some cool pictures of it, and then send it to them. And then and it's funny because a lot of people are always so keen on going to school and getting an education and having an awesome resume. At the time, I barely had a portfolio. I didn't go to school for photography. I didn't have anything. I just had this one cool picture, that I thought was
But it
cool
was
anyway.
enough.
It was enough.
Yeah.
And as long as you're genuine, you're cool, you're kind, and and you have some cool work to show, people appreciate that, and people will pick up on that.
Yeah, and what's the worst they're gonna say? No or not response. That's it.
Exactly. Nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. And you can even take, that image to another similar company if if they don't want to hire you.
If they don't want, yeah, exactly.
And say, hey, like I can do this for you, and you can take that to like multiple companies with the one shoot and show your work
Exactly.
to multiple people. Yeah, that's really good. That's a good tip.
Yeah, that's honestly, that was like my biggest thing for me. I was like, oh my God, he actually emailed me. He actually responded. I was like, oh my God, I remember that. I was at work.
Such a good feeling.
I was at work and I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like telling my my coworkers. I was like, oh my God, they replied. Obviously, I was like talking about it all day.
Of course, because it's so exciting. Yeah, I think we always expect people not to respond, but it's kind of surprising how often people do respond and get or will be interested. If you just put yourself out there, you have no idea what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Or where that can lead to.
Yeah, and it was tough. It was tough in the beginning because, I was like a photographer. I was like, I'm not a photographer. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, even putting in that email, oh, I'm a photographer in Toronto. It takes a lot.
It feels weird to say that.
It feels weird.
Yeah.
It definitely feels very strange. And it's just, again, it's just a matter of putting yourself out there. Of course, if you don't feel, if you're like, there also is such thing as like getting too ahead of yourself.
Sure.
And
you don't want to promise something that you can't accomplish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, it's always just about being authentic and genuine. And in that same email, I said I'd only been doing photography for so long. It was like a few months at that point. As long as you're honest, and again, it just all comes back to being authentic.
Yeah.
And as long as you're true to yourself and you're true in your words, then people respect that. People appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know where it went now, but I think Caitlin was asking your favorite thing about photography. Do you have your favorite thing about photography?
Yeah. This is gonna sound cheesy, but because a lot of people say it, but I guess the places that it takes you, like right here, meeting awesome people,
San Francisco,
like Ellie.
Thank you.
And yeah, in like I would have never expected to be in San Francisco, sitting in this seat, talking to you, awesome people. The places it takes you, it's kind of, again, you don't know where it's gonna go. You could travel for fun, and you could be in awesome places, or if you have your work out there, you never know who's gonna see it, who's gonna find it, and that's why it's just. Yeah, I absolutely love it because I have no idea. I have no idea what's gonna happen.
It's an open door.
Yeah, and it's just so counter. It's like, again, back to this whole like, you do weddings or you do this. It's totally not like that.
Yeah.
Totally not like that. There's need for photography in a bunch of different industries, bunch of different fields. You just have to find yours. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you have any tips for if you're not feeling motivated creatively? Name that layer.
Yeah, exactly. And now I'm trying to do it. It is important. I don't want to make it seem like it's not.
Yes.
For when I'm not feeling motivated, I have tons of ideas. They just kind of like come up randomly. And again, I think it comes back to because I don't focus on writing stuff down and having my ideas perfectly planned out.
Yeah.
It's great in terms of, this is why I love street photography, because I can go downtown and I'll be complete, like, I don't know what's going to happen that day. There could be a cool car passing by in the right moment that I could get a cool shot of, or someone else taking pictures that I join them and then we end up doing something cool. Like, I have no idea. So that's why it's really easy in terms of street photography. Like, it's okay to not have an idea, and it's okay to not, be totally prepared. Just kind of with street photography, it's unpredictable. So you kind of just go out and get inspired in the moment.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but I would say you don't always have to have a plan, or you don't always things don't always have to be perfect. You always have to try to leave some room for, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess spontaneity.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't used that word a lot actually.
Yeah.
Spontaneity. But yeah, you always have to leave
word.
room for that. You don't want to be too worried or too uptight or freak out when things don't go according to plan. Because a lot of times things don't go according to plan.
Yes, that's very true. You can kind of get stuck in an idea and then close yourself off to like other things that could happen if you're not like so focused on that one idea.
100%. Yeah, hope that helps.
Yeah.
Thanks for your question.
Have about 20 minutes until the Creative Challenge review, so make sure you submit. Show us your panoramas.
I'm so excited.
Yes, you can watch the replay if you missed it. See all about how to use the slice tool. We're excited to see what you guys create. Do you have any tips on dealing with clients who are always trying to get you to reduce your prices?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, pricing is always tricky. I think most people, and especially when they're starting out, and I'm kind of in this tricky spot where I'm still 2 years in, so I'm still pretty new, but at the same time, like, if this is what you do, like, you kind of need to,
It's your job.
It's your job, right? And just like any other, right?
Yeah.
So I think I like to base it off of like, what you like. If a client pays me a new price, for example, if I'm offered a new price and it's higher than what I usually charge, I start rethinking what I'm charging currently and think about raising it. Because that just means if there's someone out there that sees that value in you, then that means you're worth that value, right? So again, in terms of pricing and stuff like that. So I kind of like to go based off of like what I was last charged, and of course it depends if you're working on a wedding, or if you're working on a product shoot, or if you're working on, I know video is super big now.
Yeah.
And video, like I've shot a music video once, and that stuff can get more expensive because it takes more time, it takes more editing. There's just a lot more to it. So it all depends, but I would say kind of look at what you're getting paid currently or what you offer currently, and if a new price comes along, then that's when you can kind of start thinking about like raising it. But yeah, don't be afraid to the worst you'll get is no.
Yeah.
Right? Like the worst you'll get is like no, can we, and again, be kind, be thoughtful. You know, like I'm flexible with pricing or whatever, but you know, this is kind of like the basic, the I guess like the baseline.
Yeah, you kind of want to know like what your boundary is as far as how like low you would go.
Exactly, because it's the worst when you do a job and it's tons of hours and the client is on you, and then at the end you feel like you're underpaid. It's a really bad feeling.
You're gonna end up being kind of resentful.
Yeah, that too, and you don't want that. You really don't want that. You want honest work, and you want to be valued at the price that you feel is right. It's not a fun feeling. So make sure that you're not getting lowballed, if you will.
You can only take on so much work too, right? Like there's only so much you can shoot, so you want to make sure that the jobs you're taking on are worth that time that you're going to invest in them, because you could be taking on jobs that don't pay you enough and then having to say no to jobs that would have been, you know, a better fit.
Exactly.
If you fill your schedule too much.
Yeah. Yep, it's tough. It's tricky. I'm still figuring it out myself.
It's super tough. Yeah, I feel like pricing and all that is kind of a lifelong.
It is. It really is.
You're just figuring it out constantly.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has it totally down.
No, exactly. And
you know?
It's all personal. It's all
Yeah,
personal.
it's very personal.
And I think a lot of it also depends on the market, who it is that's paying you. Yeah, I like to be genuine, and the first thing I usually like to ask is it's what's in your budget, just so I can get an idea, because you know I'll get different people from all kinds of walks of life
Sure.
to asking me for work. So yeah, I mean, you can be straight up and you can say your price and, you know, this is what I charge, and that's awesome. But usually I like to start off with what's in your budget, just so I can gauge an idea. And that's the other great thing about doing freelance, is that you get to choose who you work with, right? At the end of the day, like, if it's a no for a job, it's a no for a job, and you look for another one, or
Exactly.
you know, it's all in you. It's all up to you. So
yeah, you get to make those choices.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Cool. Oh, this is actually a really cool tip. I just learned this recently too. But if you actually control click, so this is another reason why I saved it. So there's two ways to do this. So you can, I like to click the selection tool, right click, and load selection. And you can find this little drop down. I called it Danny, so you can see Danny. I would press OK, and here's the selection of them, which is awesome. So you can do that, or what you can do is you can actually control click, and it outlines him because we have him outlined on a separate layer, which is why I have him on a separate layer, which is really nice, really useful. So yeah, there's just two different ways to do the same thing. There's tons of ways to do stuff on Photoshop, the same thing.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, right now I'm just gonna work on some lighting on him. I just want to make it a little more dramatic, specifically the lighting on him. Yeah. There's so many funny questions.
I know.
So many funny comments.
And just asking, so how did you decide on the price point when you were first starting?
I think what did I do? Oh, the first time I was lucky because he actually offered me. So again, it was that card playing opportunity.
Yeah.
He offered me a price. And I think for the very first project, in fact, I said, because he said he wanted to do like multiple. He said he wanted to like send me multiple decks of cards and see how far we can take this. And you know, now he's you know, a client of mine, and he comes back to me, which is awesome. Super fantastic.
The best kind of client.
Yeah, so you always want to think that too, right? Like when you're talking to someone, they could always be a potential client in the future, right? So always keep that in mind. And so for this first one, I was so excited, I was so stoked, and I was nervous at the same time. So I said, in the beginning, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna charge you for the first shoot, and I did some work for free. And again, a lot of people can look at this and they'll say, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
They'll say, yes, that's the right thing to do. It's really up to you. I personally didn't feel as confident as I do now, for example.
Sure, you wanted to practice.
Yeah, and I wanted to practice, and I didn't want to, like you were saying, like get people's hopes up and offer something that you can't promise. So I said, just to keep this open and kind of stress-free, let's not worry about the pay. I'll put my 100% just the same. I was excited to shoot the playing cards as my first gig. So yeah, I just kind of took my enthusiasm and ran with that. And I said, free first, and then we'll talk about pricing. And later, he actually gave me a price, and it was much higher than I thought. So I was like, awesome, let's go with that. And now he's still a client to this day. And that's why I think, again, just being genuine, being honest. I knew at the time I was nervous. I was not sure of myself. So I said, you know what, let's do this properly, and we'll keep it free. I'll do my 100%. So that's always an option. If you really have no idea what to price, just start off free and then go from there. Or how did I pick my first? Like after that, I work at a community center in Toronto. And I teach photography there.
That's cool.
Yeah, I have a class. I have a youth class and an adult class, which is awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah, super great opportunity.
Yeah.
Super grateful for the staff there that gave me the opportunity to. But I kind of based it off of how much I was making there as well. So if you ever work it's also good to just think like if you have a part-time, or if you think about like minimum wage wherever you live, you can think about whatever minimum wage is, and then go up, or I wouldn't say go less than minimum wage. Again, you're putting in work, you're putting in hours, and people, there's knowledge, right? And people have to trust that you've put experience in and you've put thought into this, and you're an artist, you're a creative, right? So to really just keep that in mind, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say your price. But yeah, I would say kind of in the beginning, I think I raised just a little bit higher than what minimum wage was at the time. I think it was like $11 an hour or $14 an hour. I think it's gone up now, in Toronto anyway, in Ontario. But yeah, I think that's what I kind of stuck to. And also you can always like do some research and see what other people are pricing. You know, for me, it'd be photographers in Toronto.
Yeah.
Product photographers in Toronto.
Yeah, see what people in your area are charging for the similar work and who have similar level of experience. I think that's really helpful.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, exactly. When you Google stuff like that, you'll get a lot of top hits, and you'll see people that have been doing it for years and years. And again, it's just stuff to keep in mind. How long have I been doing it for? How confident am I? How long have others been doing it? How much are they charging? I like to just look around, you know, do some research before you start pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say.
Cool. Good advice. Thank you.
I'm just reading. Wow, way to go, Bryan. Thank you guys. You guys are so awesome. Hi, Mom. Yeah. Don't forget taxes.
Yeah. You definitely want to think
taxes.
about that. You want to think about...
Ronnie Sampson says, don't forget taxes.
Yeah, taxes, what your equipment costs.
Equipment, gear is expensive.
Yeah, any bills that you have to pay related to your business and personal.
Yeah, if you're renting stuff. People don't know. People don't know. That's why they're coming to you, right? If a client is coming to you, they're coming to you because they expect that you know these things.
You have the knowledge, you have the equipment, but you got to charge for that too.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, people don't know. So people won't think, oh, I have to charge, or, oh, I have to, the photographer is renting this equipment and it costs this much. They don't know that kind of stuff. They don't know how much you spent on your gear. So yeah, keep that stuff in mind.
Christian is asking, who would you want to collaborate with in the near or distant future? So anytime in the future.
I definitely, okay, there's a lot. Peter McKinnon, he's from Toronto, super big on YouTube, and yeah, he's super awesome. I'd love to, I've actually met him once, but if he could, I don't know, I'd love to have him show me the ropes a little bit. He's super awesome, and it's funny because he was also, before he got into YouTube, he was doing product photography, like magic and card playing photography. So it's funny, I kind of found a similar niche. So I feel like in that sense, he could actually give me a lot of tips, and we could actually relate.
Yeah, that's cool.
On a pretty cool level. So yeah, Peter McKinnon, others tons. Maddie Hapoya, Lizzie Pierce, super awesome. Yeah, I mean, at this point, again, it's photography. I don't know where it's gonna take me.
Yeah.
And so options are kind of endless, which is exciting.
That's very exciting. Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah, so I know this looks a little crazy, but I've just put a white overlay over him, and again, I'm just gonna worry about adding some accent of this strong light right above him. So this is a little too strong, so I think overlay might work. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, so we've changed the what's this called? I forget. Layer. I forget what it's called, but it sits here right to the left of the opacity tab. Let me know in the comments if someone remembers.
Oh, the name of it, is it a mask? I can't think. Yeah, layer. Yeah, layer mask.
Layer mask,
isn't it?
Or
I feel like there's so many things that I use all the time, and then I'm like, wait, what is it?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're.
And then when you're on here, you're like second guess everything you say.
Yeah, you're like,
blending mode. Thank you, Tim.
Tim, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, blending.
Oh yeah,
modes.
layer mask. Okay, layer mask controls the visibility of the current layer, and then clipping. Yeah, layer mask and clipping mask, and then blending modes.
Beautiful. Blending modes are a lot
Thanks,
of fun.
Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Awesome. Yeah, blending modes are a lot of fun. So in this case, I'm gonna change the blending mode to overlay. And this is a little too dramatic. This is a little too much for me. And I think, I don't know, in my work, I like to keep it subtle. In Photoshop, that's the great thing. You can go all out or you can be super subtle with stuff. You have a lot of options. So I'm gonna bring down the opacity to about 60. And then I also don't think the whole thing should be lit up because really the main light source is coming from above. But see, like here under his arm and to his side, like I don't think that would be as bright. So with the layer mask, I'm just gonna paint away some of the parts that I want to be a little darker.
Perfect. Susan says when we art so much we forget what the name of a tool is.
Honestly.
I feel like most of the time I just know what the symbol is and I always forget the actual name. Or like
So
I know
true.
where it is and then...
It sticks in your head.
Well, because when you're working too, right? You're not saying it out loud to yourself.
No, you're not worrying about it.
You're not
thinking
worrying about it. You're just like, oh, I'm going to add this.
You're just going for it.
Yeah.
It's so true.
And then it's only when you have to say it that you're like, wait.
Wait, what? What is it?
Wait a second.
What do I use?
What do I use?
What is that I use all the time? And it's funny because I'll be out. It's so funny. She's so right about like you just see the icon like that sticks in your head. Because I'm downtown, I'll be like working with stuff and someone will be like, oh, how are you gonna work around this? Or I'll be with my friends. They'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, how are you gonna work around that? And I'm just like,
Like
that
this icon.
tool, it's in my
or
head.
like I know the shortcut.
Yeah,
but-
exactly. So yeah, it's really funny.
Oh yeah, and Tim is saying some blending modes behave differently when you're using the fill slider versus the opacity slider.
That's a good point.
I'll list them all out right there.
Go for it.
Thanks, Tim.
Go for it. You can also change the sensitivity with the opacity of the brush up here too. It's awesome. Sometimes it's tough to keep track of like your layers and like what layer you're working on. If you're working on like a layer mask or if you're working on the original one, if you're painting black and white, just try to keep it in the back of your mind. Like, hey, now I'm working with this, and now we're gonna change the opacity to make it. It's all just thinking about. It comes back to like what it is that you're doing. What is I'm trying to do? Right now I'm trying to darken stuff out. Okay, so how do we do that?
Tim is asking, when would you say no to a project besides a low budget? Is there any other reason why you would say no to a client or turn down a project?
I think if it's a product shoot, or I've been asked to like share stuff on my Instagram and like kind of do like promotionals kind of. If I don't trust the product or if I don't trust the brand or if I don't know, if I don't really like what they're doing, like if I don't like the decisions they're making or like what they're about, then those I'll usually steer away from.
Yeah.
Just because again, if you're sharing it on your page, it really should be something you support. And so, yeah, I think in that case I'd turn it down. Otherwise, I guess, I don't know, I'm trying to think. In what situation?
I think that's a good reason to turn down a project if your values don't align with that company.
Exactly. So grateful for the undo. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I'm doing stuff all the time.
Most useful.
Right? And again, like sometimes I'll just forget what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? What is the point of this? What am I doing? So it's good to just look back and be like, cool, this is what's happening.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah, Tim's saying opacity is not the same as flow, because with flow you can go multiple passes without having to lift your mouse.
That's super awesome too, especially if you're using a brush or if you're using a pad. Or that's really cool too. That's really important for that. just gonna line this up.
We have about 5 minutes, well, 4.5 minutes until the Daily Creative Challenge, so make sure you submit your panorama.
Yeah.
Show us how you use the slice tool. Love to see your guys' work, and you'll get some live feedback from Bryan.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really want to see what you guys come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now we're gonna work on making those shadows even darker.
Cool.
So we've added the highlight. Now we're just gonna, again, make it more dramatic because we can do that in Photoshop. Have as much fun as we want. So deselect. Add there and start painting.
All right.
Yeah, so now I'm painting away any parts that are highlighted.
Okay.
Any parts that I want to be lit up, we're gonna paint that away. Don't forget to bring your opacity back up. That's another thing, I forget to do that a lot.
You're like, why is it not working?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what is going on? I know what I'm doing.
I know, yeah.
It should be right.
I know this works.
Done it before.
Or you like get mad at your computer and then you realize it's because you like
you blame it. You're
you
like,
forgot to
technology.
turn something back. I know.
It's all technology. Screwing me over. Your opacity's down.
Your opacity's
down, buddy. Another way I like to use the opacity is when I'm just trying to fade things out, not make a harsh cut. So here I'm gonna say like his head and upper chest, like want it really bright because that light's hitting him head on. And then just here, just beneath that, I want it to get a little brighter, but not as bright. And then below, I want it even
like
darker.
Fade it out, yeah.
Exactly. So I like to use that, which is awesome.
Yeah, you have to really like learn to see light and think about how, if you're doing composite stuff like this, like think about how light would actually hit him, and if this were a real situation.
Exactly.
In order for it to look realistic.
Exactly, and that's again another reason why it's awesome if you're not into photography now. There's just a lot to learn, and a lot you start paying attention to things that you wouldn't have normally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Got like a minute and 30 left.
So close.
So close.
You guys, submit if you haven't already.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We want to see it.
I'll work on that tomorrow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be working on this, just finishing it off tomorrow, and then I'll probably, I don't know, maybe I'll like get inspired by San Francisco.
Ooh, something in San Francisco?
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Maybe I'll play around with that.
Yeah.
We'll see. Again, leaving space for spontaneity. I don't know
Yes.
what's gonna happen. But
Yes, you guys will have to tune in to see.
should be super fun. Thank you so much, guys, for all the questions. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, you guys have had really good questions today. We'll have a whole nother 2 hours tomorrow to ask more.
Let's see, what could we do next? I realize I'm just zooming in and zooming out. I don't know. I don't think I should do anything more. There's like 30 seconds left. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
You may have a little bit of time at the end.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
Yeah.
This is not it.
Yeah.
But it's your guys' time to shine. Please.
Yes, if you haven't submitted, submit. If you missed the tutorial and you want to watch it later, the replay will be up, available for you to watch.
Totally.
You guys should go back and watch. There's so many challenge tutorials that live on Behance, and you can go back and see, like, you can see past streams like this, but you can also see all the challenges, which are really short little videos, so they're easy to watch, and 30 minutes of your time, you can learn so many cool tips and tricks and tools that you can use in your work.
Absorb all the knowledge. Use it. That's what it's here for.
Yeah, it's super, super useful. All right, you want to jump over?
Sweet, yeah. Let's do it.
So, let's see. So yeah, if you missed it, the challenge today was to use the slice tool, slice up a panorama, and in Instagram, when you put it in, you can like slide through, right? And so it'll look like one full image, even though it's actually broken up into multiple images. So looks like, here's one. This is cool. Like they put it in the mock-up, so you can see how it actually turn out if you were sliding through in real life.
I like that behind the scenes. Very cool.
That's very cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah, I love the stars. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Got reflections in the water. That's awesome. Again, attention to detail. That's very important.
Yeah. Nice, clean lines. Looks great.
Yeah, that too.
Cool.
Super sweet.
Good job.
Good stuff. I don't even, that's just awesome. I don't even know, because I don't have any constructive criticism. That's just awesome.
Yeah, let's see. Okay. I don't know if these ones are sliced up, but these are cool panoramas. I guess, too, you could, I didn't see the whole challenge, but maybe it was also showing, like, how you could put images into, like, one panorama, too. So, maybe. Looks good.
Yeah, there's, you can also play around with this, too, because I've seen many people use in different ways where you'll have, like, so the pictures will be all different in each frame, but you'll have, like, constant. So you can have, like, a line going through all of them, outlining something, and that will be consistent, but each picture will be different. You can play a lot with this.
Yeah, that's cool.
But this is super clean. Yeah, if you slice this up, this is super clean. I can't even tell where the cuts are.
Yeah.
Super sweet panorama.
Great job. It looks like, oh, they had this one too. That's San Francisco.
Is it?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, that was so funny. I was like, I want to go there. This looks awesome.
Yeah, Koi Tower right here.
That's so cool.
You can go there. I don't know where this exact spot is, but you can probably find it.
That's cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, great job.
Super clean. Again, I can't even notice. You can't even notice where the cuts are. It's super clean.
I think you could probably just up the saturation a little bit, like bring some of those colors out maybe, because there's some like cool greens and reds and stuff in here that could kind of like
for sure make it stand out a little bit. Yeah, there's like in the shadows there's a bit of like a deep blue kind of across the whole thing. But that's one thing I started trying out is playing with different colors and not being afraid of color. So yeah, that's a pretty good tip.
Cool. Let's see. Okay, got that one. Looks like there's some old challenges in here.
Cool.
This one. Wow.
Whoa, that looks gorgeous.
That looks beautiful.
Right? So cool. The sky is nice. I like the oranges. The highlight, like they just stand out really nicely.
All these little like houses, those little lights.
Yeah, so cool. So cool. I would say even like make it more dramatic. I would make the shadows even darker, make it seem like it's like dark and it's like really bright, but you know it's still just the sun is just setting. It could be rising too. That's the funny thing about sunsets. You never really know if there's sunsets or sunrise.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks super clean.
Good job. Oh, nice.
Ooh, I like the lines, like leading lines. Very nice, very nice. Green stands out, awesome. Super cool. I see some parts you like went and I think you like up the sharpness on the trees, made them stand out a little more.
Oh yeah, like in here.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Like right here.
Yeah, I would say if I were to say anything, I would say this looks awesome. I would say kind of do a similar effect with the water. If you're gonna bring a lot of attention to the trees, I think the water should as well have it, just because it's taking up so much of the image. But I would have made that like more dramatic blue, make it look like a real paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it
bring
more
some
like
more blues into the water.
Dream. That boat there is cool in the end. That's a pretty cool image. But yeah, great work, great stuff.
Yeah, good composition.
Can we see who did it too? Is there a name?
Bonnie's 22.
Cool. Good job. Oh, putting in more stuff too.
Oh yeah, yeah. It looks like this is like one slice of it.
Oh, that's wicked.
And then all together.
And then all together. Very nice. Love it.
Ooh.
You guys are doing really good with the blending.
Yeah.
I almost can't even tell. Like again, like I can't even tell. I don't think I've been able to spot once.
I know.
Where the lines, like,
You guys,
it's super clean.
It's very impressive.
This is super cool. I wish, I don't know if this is real or if this like exists, but this would be.
It looks magical.
Yeah.
Kind of like a fairy tale.
Yeah. Reminds me, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like Kung Fu Panda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
Kung Fu Panda.
some environment in Kung Fu Panda.
Yes.
Poe was like training in there.
Yeah. Right now. At this moment.
That's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. I would say, if I were to say anything, there's a lot of greens just dished out across the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just to make things stand out, just use shadows, use highlights, use contrast, use color, anything you can to make things pop out a little more. I am noticing that the house is standing out a little bit more because it's in the foreground, and it looks a little clearer. The rest is a little blurry. Which is cool, gives that nice realistic effect. But because it's taking up, that background is taking up so much of the image, it's important to, I think, keep that in mind as well, like making that stand out. But it looks awesome.
Yeah, looks great. Nice clouds. Cool.
Yeah, I like the color popping from this one. There's even like a yellow. It's a yellow house that you kind of sneak up. You're like, ooh, reds, blues, oh, and even yellow. You're like looking around. I like that. That's super cool.
Yeah, the contrast in the red and the blue is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Great job.
Yeah. You guys are doing awesome stuff.
Yes.
Keep submitting.
Oh, this is one from earlier.
Keep submitting.
Oh, wow. There's so many here.
Is that all the same person?
Yeah, looks like it.
Whoa. You
So there's this one.
went to work. I love it.
This
This is
one.
awesome. So smooth.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool image.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Some like
Ship.
Pirates of the Caribbean stuff.
Yeah, I like that all of these are so different.
Yeah, right?
Kind of cool.
That's cool. I love that glow. Yeah.
Yeah, great job.
Fantastic.
Do you have a favorite of these?
Ooh, of these ones?
Yeah,
the
set.
I'm gonna say, I really like the blues and the orange from that first one. Blues and orange are like,
Or not this one.
or the one at the top.
Oh,
sorry.
oh, this one?
The
no.
one above that.
Sorry.
One. No, no worries.
Which one? Let me click on every single one.
They all look great. I just like the colors here.
Yes.
Like blue and orange are complementary too, so maybe it's just a little bit of like science, but this looks really cool. And I like this one. I think this one's my favorite, but looking back at the other ones, I like the
It's
feel.
hard to choose, huh?
It's so tough. I like the feel and the atmosphere of the pirate ship one. That one's cool.
I like these like stars or whatever these are over here. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's super simple. Color palette super simple. Clean. Yeah, is that what they added stars there?
I think there's stars 'cause this. I thought this was the sun, but actually it might be the moon.
That's awesome. That is so wicked.
Like a yeah.
Again, it's just like you took a simple concept and you made it powerful. So you took simple colors. It's not like I'm not overwhelmed. There's not too much to look at. The ship is obviously the highlight, but then there's nice accents when you do look around. There's the stars, kind of
Little details.
yeah. You get to wander around and I think those are the best images. So yeah, I think this one and the first one are probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Cool.
That was like modern mixed with like desert. You have like on the right you got that super tall building. Like again, you get like the modern feeling. But then like everything else is like desert. It's crazy. Has a cool effect.
Yeah.
And the tones are fitting it too. The colors, those browns, those grays, very nice.
I'd say maybe like add something to the middle panel because when you break it up and people only see part of the image at a time, this space is a little empty.
Yeah,
There's something going on here and over here.
This looks perfect for like a banner or like something.
Or you have to put text or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
something to put on it. So as a standalone,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a great point. I think it's some like larger subject or something like that. Because yeah, it looks like a really cool. It looks like something that can really make something else pop. It's just, yeah, what that something else is. You could totally have fun with that. Something in the middle, something balancing out. It's another big thing is balance.
Yeah.
And you can argue that the clouds and that really dark patch of trees are balancing out the weight of the building. You could totally argue that, and I see that. But I think even a little more so, I would emphasize it on the left just a little more. But yeah, clean, very, very clean. Love it.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so here's
some resorts.
Yes.
This is a backyard. Oh yeah, look, they're chilling in their backyard.
That sounds real nice right now.
That's epic, right? I want a backyard like that.
I know.
I've always wanted a pool.
Nice pool.
Yeah.
Cool. And then it looks like this is a slice. Right? No. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a little slice of it.
The technique that what's his name? Is it
Jesus?
Jesus? Yeah. The technique that he showed is awesome, because these are all like consistently super, super clean. That's an awesome way to do this. I'm excited. I hope you guys are posting these to your Instagram. These are fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta show these.
You gotta share them.
Yeah, don't just hide it away in the Discord. These are awesome.
Yes. Here's some more.
Nice. Whoa, it's like some temple.
Yeah.
Temple style stuff. Sweet.
Cool.
You guys are loving
These
like
are
this
beautiful.
Amazon forest. Oh, it's actually the same challenge 5. Yeah. Cool. Awesome stuff.
Yeah. Great job, guys. Here's another. I think this is a sliced one.
Cool.
Cool. I think we're back to the beginning. Well, thank you guys for submitting. There's going to be another challenge tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time, so make sure you watch that. And then Bryan will be back tomorrow reviewing more of these. So make sure you submit and join the challenge. And we have a couple more minutes if you want to finish up a little bit more on this image.
Sweet. Why not? Let's do it.
Great job, guys.
I think my mouse just kind of timed out.
Oh no. It's like, I'm done.
It's given up, yeah. I think it's
I'm
done.
going to sleep.
Sorry, buddy. You're gonna go for a little longer. Yeah. Also, yeah. Let me know if you guys want to see either. If there's some image, maybe we'll pick a few. Maybe if you guys want me to redo something, like one of my edits on Instagram or on Behance, totally feel free to let me know.
Cool.
And or if you want me to play with a new image completely, or you want me to continue working with this, let me know. I want to know what's up. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, let us know what you want to see tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tim says you should totally use the new content-aware fill workspace for the last thing you did. It should scale down the walls so the perspective matches if you check the scale checkbox.
Okay, cool. So he's talking about, I believe he's talking about what we just did here.
Let's see. Oh, yeah.
So I just want to make this like tunnel, make it look like it's more, and I just use content-aware fill, but I think what he's saying is grab this part of the image and have the content-aware, have the tech, have the awesomeness of the technology focus in on this area and this area to blend it.
Yeah, he says, yeah, edit content-aware fill, and then that workspace will pop up, right?
Cool. Edit.
Or fill and then content-aware?
Content-aware scale? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, because I think you would do fill and then content-aware, right?
So you fill it first?
I don't.
Let's see what this does.
Tim, let us know.
Let's try.
Let us know what you're thinking.
What's this little dude? This is the other great thing. You like run into so many new things.
New things pop up all the time, and you're like, what does this do?
What's this? Yeah, and yeah, I actually hadn't updated for a while. So I'm still like getting used to even like now you don't have to hold shift when you're resizing something, And that's like gotten me so many times.
Yes, you're like, wait.
It's just like, oh my goodness, I've been doing it for so long, so it's so hard to like undo the habit.
Oh wait, Tim says maybe you have an older version now. How recently did you update?
Pretty sure I updated it before I flew, so.
Oh, interesting.
Pretty sure it should be the new one, but.
Well, maybe we can play around with it tomorrow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or play with it tomorrow. That's always an option too.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll try to figure out, and then we'll implement it into tomorrow's edit, so we can show you guys what that looks like.
Cool.
Yeah, because I've seen tutorials on it. It looks really, really cool. I'm not too worried. This looks kind of funky, but I'm not too worried about it because if you remember from what the original image looks like, we're gonna darken this space out anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not too worried about that. Looking perfect.
Tim says you could re-enable the hold shift to scale hotkey if you wanted.
Okay,
if it's
cool.
throwing you off.
Let's add, I'm gonna go and again, just make this more dramatic.
Okay.
Make it look like it's like a deep dark tunnel. Like no one knows what's up. Don't know how far it goes.
Going into the darkness.
Yeah. Let's go even a little bigger. You can also use your bracket keys to make it bigger or larger. I just like to use this too because you guys can see actually the pixel size that I'm working with. And again with the opacity.
Making that into a tunnel.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make sure this doesn't go too far, so I think I'm just gonna set a little bit of work area. I don't want to take out too much of the image or make it too dark. So
you don't want it to be distracting.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just confine myself to this space here.
Okay.
And then get back into it.
I have some questions about your laptop. Do you know the version? What version are you working with?
It's a Dell XPS 15 9560. I believe that's the full name of the model. Yeah, using Windows 10.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's always fun. I love playing with the blending modes again because you can always, you do something and then you're like, ooh, let's see what the blending modes can do with it, right?
Yeah, how it's gonna change it.
Yeah, so that's always fun.
Now that we remember what they're called.
Yeah, the blending modes. I'm gonna forget that later too. Watch tomorrow. I'm gonna
I'll be like, wait a second.
What is it called again? Tim. Tim, my lifeline. Let's see what overlay does. Okay, so overlay kind of brings out that light that we had back there. Which, you know what, I think I kind of want to bring back some of the lights that we had back there. So before we do that, let's actually, it's the original. And then this is why I like, this is why I like saving my stuff and duplicating things because I always have that to look back.
Yeah, easily bring things back. You didn't erase them completely.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, you don't have to start over from the beginning.
No.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Yeah, no, that's brutal. It's happened to me. In fact, I'm gonna Control S save right now because
smart.
Because it's really, you got to get into the habit of doing it because it absolutely sucks when you lose your stuff.
Yes.
You've been working so hard on something and then it's just super stressful. And that goes for anything. That goes for if you're working on any project, if you're working on Premiere, or if you're working on really anywhere, even if you're using Word documents or whatever, like always save.
Yes.
Always save.
Especially if you're working on client work. I mean, any kind of project, but
you don't want to lose your stuff. Yeah, duplicate your files. Especially if you're working with like footage or pictures, you're working with tons of stuff like that. Duplicate your stuff. Duplicate your stuff. I love how we just have his legs.
There. It's like coming through the wall.
Yeah. The outline of things, so funny. You see the funniest things, especially when you're working with like photos that you took.
Yeah.
Because you were there in the moment, so now you're just looking at things flip and it's funny.
We have just a couple more minutes, so if you have any last questions for Bryan today, make sure you ask them. We'll try to get to them. Or if you have any suggestions for tomorrow, let him know.
Yeah. Always open to suggestions.
Yes. And then right after this, we have an XD Daily Creative Challenge and an XD Stream, so make sure you stick around for that. It's going to be pretty cool. XD is a super cool program.
For sure. There's tons you can learn. And like, again, use these tools, guys. Like, really use everything that is offered to you.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't go to school for photography. I didn't go to school for any graphic design. I didn't do any of that. I mean, like, I had in high school, I think I had fun in like media arts class and stuff.
Yeah.
But beyond high school, I haven't studied this stuff. And you can learn so much, right? And again, you can get client work, and you can actually do things professionally, and not have that education necessarily.
Yeah.
Because you can always teach yourself, and like I said, there's so much out there.
There's so much out there, even just on Adobe Live. Like, if you participate in the challenges, you're going to get feedback on your work, which is going to help you grow. You're going to learn how to use tools that maybe you wouldn't normally use, and then seeing people work and share their process too, you're going to learn so much that you can kind of pick and choose what you want to bring into your own process.
100%.
Oh, Hank. Hi, Hank.
Hank, hey! I was just talking about you earlier.
Yeah. Hank says, Bryan, what would you say has been your most challenging piece thus far?
Good question. Honestly, I think you can show it on my Instagram.
Which one?
It's this one in the middle right here with again, floaty friend.
A little bit.
So
This is cool.
yeah, so this one is the one that actually got featured on Photoshop.
It's super awesome.
And yeah, that was super.
It's a phone down here?
Yeah. So,
oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that at first. That's so cool.
yeah, so it's actually my phone, like my phone.
Wow.
And then I used long exposure. Like I like to grab a lot of like long exposures, like street cars or cars passing by.
Wow.
And that's where you get the cool lasers from. And again, it's just this floaty people. I really like to use that. And
super cool.
yeah, this was like inspired by, I guess, kind of like what I'm talking about today, and just like using social media and putting yourself out there. You know, there's a lot of things to be said about social media that can be lots of negatives. There's a lot of bad, and there's a lot of, you know, things that are really disappointing about it.
Yeah.
But it honestly is about the way that you use it, and the way that you put yourself out there, and if you're using it to up your art, then hey, that's absolutely
positive.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Super, super positive. And so this was kind of like, you know, using your phone, using your social media, whatever you have around you, to kind of elevate your work, literally.
Yes.
Elevate and you know, show your colors, be you. You know, there's a lot behind this image, but this was definitely really, really challenging. There was a lot to it. I was trying to get like a bunch of different. I was going out to shoot tons of nights.
Yeah.
To come up with the great thing to be featured on Photoshop. So this one was pretty tough. Facts. Yeah, exactly. Hank Washington says facts. Like you just got to use what's around you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, this piece was really tough, but it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of different pictures. I grabbed a separate picture of my phone. Again, the light streaks are long exposures, and if you don't know what a long exposure is,
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, a long exposure is just an image that you have a long shutter. So there's a camera sensor in the camera, and then there's the shutter that opens and closes in front of it. And if that's open for a long time, then you get cool light rays and stuff going through it.
Cool. Maybe you can play around with that a little bit tomorrow.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. You guys have to come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Same time, 9:30, we will be here, and you'll get to see more of Bryan's awesome work and ask him more questions. And then make sure you stick around for our XD streams. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, guys. Peace.
Bye.